They mocked humanity's outdated ship until it awoke after 1,000 years. The chamber of the Galactic Council was a circle of light and mirrors. Thousands of eyes watched from tiers that rose like a mountain. Jewels flashed. Robes rustled. The air thrummed with quiet pride. They were ready to judge a new species. At the center stood a single human ship. It looked wrong, small, plain. Its dark hull was dull and scarred. Plates were offset, as if hammered in by hand. The engine cones were old shapes, not the smooth rings the galaxy used now. No elegant glow. No ornamental fins. No shining crest. Just a black vessel that seemed tired. Laughter broke across the chamber, claws tapped the railings. Tentacles slapped the tables. Sharp teeth flashed. Some officials hid their grins behind fans of metal and glass. Others did not hide at all. Is this their best? One admiral with golden scales asked. A mining tool would stand taller. Did they make it from scrap? Another said, 4 eyes wide with joy. Perhaps they borrowed from a museum. The noise grew. The walls threw the sound back like waves. It was easy to laugh. It felt safe to laugh. The ship looked weak. The humans standing at the edge of the circle did not answer. They wore simple suits, no medals, no gems, no banners. They kept their hands still and their faces calm. That quiet made the laughter louder. A commander in black armor leaned back, voice cold and pleased. You expect us to fear this? I could train cadets with a target like that. 1 strike would be enough. The council roared again, but not all laughed. Far in the back, where the light was dim, a few tacticians stopped smiling. They leaned toward their screens. They zoomed in on the hull. They traced lines with careful claws. Those lines were not random scrapes. They were deep grooves, patterns, not letters from any known tongue, not marks from common tools. The alloy code did not match modern lists. It looked older. It looked like metal that had lived a long time. One tactician whispered to another, I have seen this form. Not in current fleets. In sealed records. His partner frowned. From when? The first did not answer. His throat was dry. The council leader lifted a long arm. The laughter thinned. Humans, he said. His many eyes narrowed. You bring this vessel for trial. You call it a weapon. You call it worthy. But it is small, it is ugly. It is weak. The lead human stepped forward. He did not bow. He did not raise his voice. You may call it weak, he said. You may laugh at its age. Do not mistake age for failure. What you see is not the start of our strength. It is a memory of it. The words dropped into the room like heavy stones. For a breath, no one moved. A few leaders scoffed to push away the chill. Others looked back at their screens with new care. Fingers raced over archives. Old names, old wars. Fragments of reports that survived fire and time. It cannot be, one tactician said, but his hand shook. Enough, an admiral snapped, eager to kill the doubt. Let us test the toy. 1 drill and the matter is done. Orders went out. The trial would be in open space. 5 cruisers would fire measured shots. Not to kill, to embarrass. To make a clean story the galaxy could repeat over drinks. Humanity came, humanity failed. Humanity learned its place. The humans remained still. They did not bargain. They did not stall. They did not ask for softer terms. Their silence pressed on the chamber like a slow tide. The laughter did not return. Not fully. It tried, then faltered. The screens filled with the trial grounds. Cold stars. A marker ring. The human ship at the center, small and dark, waiting. Around it, the 5 cruisers took positions like blades closing on a seed. Admiral Varick, old scars, older eyes, leaned close to his display. He traced the ship's silhouette as if it were a wound from another life. Where did I see you? He whispered. He felt a knot he had not felt in years. Not fear, not yet. Something near it. A memory that would not show its face. The first cruiser armed a plasma lance. In the chamber, breath caught. Heads tilted. The shot would be simple. A clean burst. Enough to light the human hull and peel away a layer. Enough to draw a neat line under a neat joke. The human diplomats watched, unblinking. The council leader let his hands fold on the rail, calm again. Observe, he said, and learn. The countdown flashed on every wall. 3, 2, 1. The lance fired. A white spear crossed the dark. It struck the black hull. The screens flared, washing the chamber in light. Heat maps danced. Shock rings rippled. Numbers poured down the margins. The glow faded. The ship was still there. No bloom of armor torn free. No drift of melted plates. The black hull looked the same. Burn scars turned to nothing. The surface swallowed the strike like rain into stone. Murmurs rolled through the seats. A second cruiser fired. Then a third. Lines of energy crisscrossed the trial field. Particle beams hissed. Scatter lasers stitched the darkness. On the graphs, the power climbed into ranges used to glass small moons. The human vessel did not move. It did not shield. It did not spin. It did not answer. It endured. In the back row, a tactician's crest slowly flattened. He pulled an archive with a restricted stamp. He matched a set of hull grooves to a grainy image from a war that had no current name. First Cataclysm records, he breathed. Pre-Council age. His partner stared. Impossible. Humans were primitive then. The tactician did not look up. Then explain why the beams vanish. The council leader's voice lost a shade of ease. Increase power. On the field, capacitors sang. The cruisers charged for a combined strike. In the chamber, the light dipped as if the room itself braced. Some leaders found their smiles again thin and forced. Others looked at the humans and saw the same steady faces, the same quiet eyes. Why so calm? Why no fear? Admiral Varick answered his own unspoken question with a whisper only his bones heard. Because they have seen this before. The final charge bar reached full. The volley stood one breath away. And for the first time since the laughter began, the chamber fell truly silent. The chamber lights dimmed, and every alien eye turned toward the great screen. Outside, in the endless dark of space, the human ship floated still, a black stone beneath cold stars. Around it, 5 alien cruisers gleamed like silver beasts, their cannons humming with energy. The test was about to begin. Fire in sequence, ordered the council leader, his many eyes narrowing. Let the galaxy see the truth. Admiral Varick didn't move. He watched the little ship like a man watching a shadow take shape. Something about its stillness disturbed him. No ship should sit that calm, not when surrounded by enemies. The first shot fired. A streak of blue plasma tore through the void and slammed into the human hull. The explosion bloomed like a newborn star. Shockwaves rolled across the field, shaking the cruisers. On the screen, the blast drowned everything in white light. Then, silence. When the light faded, the human ship was still there, untouched, unmoved. Gasps filled the council hall. Claws twitched. Fins quivered. Someone hissed. It should have vaporized. Fire again, the council leader growled. Harder! The second cruiser obeyed. Then the third. Bolts of plasma, laser beams, particle storms, all rained down on the black vessel like a storm of suns. The trial ground became a furnace, yet through it all the ship endured. The light wrapped around it and vanished into its hull as if the fire itself bowed before it. In the chamber, laughter was gone. Only whispers now. What alloy is that? Those readings. They're wrong. It's absorbing the energy. A technician's voice trembled. This can't be human engineering. Another barked. Check for energy shields. There are none, the technician replied, voice cracking. No shields at all. Admiral Varick's claws clicked slowly. He opened a locked archive on his datapad, something sealed for centuries. He compared the scans. The match glowed red. No, he whispered. Not again. Enough games, the council leader barked. Full volley. The 5 cruisers aligned their weapons. Their cores flared white-hot. Every barrel, every missile bay, every railgun aimed at the single dark target. The combined energy of 5 worlds thrummed in the void. The countdown began again. 3, 2, 1. The universe blinked. Explosions ripped across the trial field. Plasma burned bright as stars. A storm of missiles followed, streaks of light tearing through darkness. The void shook. The council hall rattled as the shockwaves hit their sensors. Then black. The monitors overloaded, the image lost in static. For a heartbeat, there was relief. Laughter almost returned. It's gone, someone said. Finally. But when the screens cleared, the ship remained, floating, unscathed. The laughter died in throats. No one breathed. Even the council leader's voice faltered. How is that possible? The human vessel drifted in silence. Its surface shimmered faintly now, the faint gold of hidden light pulsing beneath the metal like veins under ancient skin. Admiral Varick felt his chest tighten. He recognized the pulse. He had seen it in records buried under entire civilizations. The Sunfire signature, an ancient power used long before the current empires were born. "This ship," he whispered, "is older than the Council itself." A tactician nearby turned pale. "You mean—" Varric nodded. "The first builders, the ones who vanished after the Great Burning, this is one of theirs. And the humans, they command it." In the silence, one alien officer dared to speak. Then the humans lied about being new to the stars. Varric's voice was cold. "No, they told the truth. We just never listened." On the trial field, the black ship stirred for the first time. Its engines glowed faintly, not white or blue like modern drives, but a deep, ancient gold, steady and slow, like a heart awakening after centuries of sleep. The chamber filled with gasps. The humans didn't speak. They just watched. A ripple of fear spread through the council rows. No one laughed now. No one dared, because every leader in that hall finally understood one truth that chilled their blood. The humans had not come to prove themselves. They had come to remind the galaxy that they had been here long before anyone else. Silence ruled the chamber. No laughter. No applause. Only the deep hum of screens echoing through the vast hall. The image of the human ship floated before them, black, ancient, patient. The golden pulse beneath its hull grew brighter, beating like a sleeping beast's heart coming alive. Every alien eye was fixed on it. Every whisper carried fear. "Engines are active," murmured a technician. "Impossible," said another. "We hit it with enough energy to melt moons." But the sensors didn't lie. The old vessel was waking up. Admiral Varric leaned forward, his claws scraping the console. His mind raced through memories of classified archives, stories told in hushed tones, myths of machines so old they shouldn't exist. Ships that could drink suns and carve through planets like butter. Everyone dismissed them as legend. But legends don't bleed into reality. Unless they were never legends at all. The chamber lights dimmed further as the energy readings climbed. The black vessel's hull shifted, panels folding, revealing faintly glowing markings. Not random lines, but symbols etched in symmetry. They pulsed in rhythm, as if whispering in a forgotten language. A young alien officer, barely grown from his larval stage, stared in horror. "That pattern, I've seen it. My grandfather told stories about such markings, from the War of the First Dawn. He said they belonged to the ships that erased entire star systems." His superior turned sharply. "Those are bedtime tales, boy." But his own voice trembled. Down below, the humans remained motionless, their faces unreadable. Their calmness now felt dangerous, unnatural. The council leader slammed his clawed hand on the rail. "Enough illusions. This is trickery. A dead relic cannot—" The lights flickered. The entire chamber shook. A low hum filled the air, so deep it vibrated in bones. On the screen, the black ship's engines bloomed with light, not the artificial burn of fuel or plasma, but something softer, deeper, alive. It was like watching a sun rise underwater. "Energy spike," shouted an analyst. "But it's not radiation. It's harmonic. It's resonating with our systems." Alarms flared across consoles. Data screens turned to static. The council's translation devices glitched, languages overlapping into gibberish. One by one, the alien ships in the test field began losing control. Communications down. "Shields dropping. Navigation offline." The golden light from the human vessel spread in waves, invisible yet heavy, like gravity itself bending under its will. In the middle of the chaos, the human diplomat finally moved. He turned toward the council, his expression still calm. "You wanted proof," he said softly. "Now you will have it." The ship began transmitting. Not words, but sound. A deep, haunting tone filled the chamber, resonating through the metal walls. It wasn't noise, it was memory. Images flashed across every screen. Broken worlds, burning stars, fleets vanishing into silence. Ancient empires that had ruled before the council ever existed, erased by forces they couldn't name. The aliens gasped. Many recoiled, some wept. The memories were not stories, they were history. The ship was showing them what it had seen, the First Dawn War. A war that ended the last age of civilization and humanity. "Was there?" "No," whispered Admiral Varric, his voice hollow. Not newcomers, survivors. The realization spread like fire. The humans weren't rising and they were returning. The golden glow faded. The ship went still again as though exhausted from remembering. The systems of the council hall flickered back to life. The alarm stopped. The silence returned. But nothing was the same. Every alien in that room looked at the humans differently now. Not as fools, not as primitives, but as something far older and far more dangerous. The council leader's voice cracked. What are you? The human diplomat met his gaze. We are what's left. He turned his eyes to the great screen where the black vessel floated quietly once more. You called it weak, but weakness is not what survives 1,000 years of war. The chamber was still heavy, filled with awe and fear, because for the first time the galaxy realized humanity's history didn't start with them joining the stars. It started with them owning them. Long ago, and now their past was waking up again. The trial field was quiet again. No weapons fired, no orders shouted, only the slow throb of light pulsing beneath the ancient human ship. It hung there in the black like a sleeping god, golden veins glowing against its dark hull. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, fear settled thick as smoke. The laughter that once echoed against the silver walls was now a distant ghost, replaced by the cold rhythm of dread. Every alien watched in silence, hearts pounding with one question. What have the humans awoken? The council leader's voice finally broke the stillness. Deactivate it, he ordered, forcing authority into his trembling tone. Shut down that relic before it... But the technician cut him off. Sir, it's not responding to any commands. It's not connected to our system anymore. The old Admiral Varick rose slowly from his seat. His eyes, yellow and ancient, were locked on the projection. It's not connecting, he murmured. It's rejecting. That ship doesn't recognize your authority, or anyone's. A chill crawled through the chamber. Suddenly the black vessel stirred. Its hull unfolded with a slow grinding sound. Long-forgotten panels shifted, revealing cannons older than the empires watching them. The golden pulse intensified, a steady heartbeat now visible across its armor. It's preparing something, whispered one observer. No, said Varick, his claws tightening on the railing. It's remembering something. The energy reading spiked again. Every screen in the chamber came alive, and not with numbers but with images. Ghostly projections flickered through the air. Burning skies, cities turned to ash, enormous machines tearing through stars. Alien leaders flinched as visions of destruction filled the hall. This isn't data, said a scientist. It's a recording. The ship is showing us what it has seen. The images changed, now showing human silhouettes wearing armor none of the modern empires recognized. They stood on shattered worlds fighting shapes too large to name. Behind them, ships just like the one on the trial field blazed golden across the void, carving through fleets that no longer existed. The council chamber was frozen. Not one creature dared to speak. Admiral Varick finally whispered, "This ship isn't a relic of humanity's future. It's a survivor of their past." The realization hit like thunder. The humans had not brought an old machine to impress the council. They had brought a witness to a war that ended civilizations long before the council was ever formed. The chamber lights flickered again. The black ship rotated slowly in the void, turning its hull so that its weapons faced the alien cruisers still floating nearby. The golden runes glowed brighter, their lines pulsing like veins of fire. "Emergency signal," cried a voice. "The cruisers are locking shields. They think it's about to attack." "Tell them to hold fire!" the council leader shouted. "Hold." Too late. One cruiser panicked. It launched a missile, a single streak of silver light across the emptiness. It hit the human ship squarely in the hull. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ship looked back. Its golden veins flared so brightly that even the stars dimmed. A low hum filled the chamber, deep and resonant, vibrating through every body present. The vessel's cannons unfolded, not in anger, but in certainty, like a creature stretching its limbs after long sleep. A beam of golden energy erupted from its front, silent, perfect, and merciless. The missile cruiser vanished. No explosion, no wreckage, just gone, erased from existence as if the beam had cut a line through space itself and taken reality with it. The chamber erupted in chaos. Shouts, panic, disbelief. The council leader slammed his claws against the table. "Ceasefire. Ceasefire immediately." But the ship didn't fire again. It went still. The golden glow dimmed until only a faint shimmer remained. The silence that followed was worse than the blast. The human diplomat stepped forward, his voice calm, quiet, terrifying. You called it weak. You said it was old. You said it was nothing. He looked up at the great screen where the empty space still burned faintly gold. This ship is older than your empires. It has seen galaxies fall and rise again, and yet it still endures. Tell me, Council, what does that make you? No one answered. The Council chamber, once the proud heart of the galaxy, felt suddenly small, powerless, like children staring at a storm they had laughed at seconds before. And somewhere, deep within the human ship, the golden heart pulsed once more, slow, steady, eternal, as if it was waiting for the next insult. Or perhaps, the next war. The galaxy watched in fear. The human ship, the relic of impossible design, floated calmly among the ruins of the cruiser it had erased. No explosion, no trace, only a faint shimmer of gold that danced like dust in the dark. For a long moment, no one in the council dared to move. It felt as though the air itself had thickened, every breath heavy, every sound swallowed by awe. The laughter of earlier was a dead memory. Even the hum of the chamber's light seemed quieter now, as if afraid to disturb whatever ancient force lingered there. Admiral Varick stood slowly. His eyes were wide, but not in panic, in recognition. I have read about this, he murmured, in the forbidden scrolls of the Zorath archives. They spoke of ships like that one, not built but forged. They said their cores were living suns bound in iron. The council leader turned toward him sharply. Nonsense, he snapped, though his voice trembled. You speak of myths. Varick met his gaze with the calm of a man who no longer doubted. Myth becomes history the moment it breathes again. On the main screen, the black ship's light began to fade back into silence. Its weapons folded inward, its glow softened, retreating beneath the metal skin like embers cooling under ash. But no one mistook that stillness for peace. It wasn't done, it was resting. One of the younger alien scientists leaned forward, shaking. It's not attacking anymore. But its energy readings, they're rising again, slowly, consistent, like a heartbeat. The council murmured, frightened. A translator device flickered, glitching under an untraceable signal. Then a voice came through. Not from the humans, not from the council's system, but from the ship itself. It was deep, ancient, metallic, yet unmistakably alive. We remember. The voice rolled through the chamber like thunder. Every alien froze. The humans didn't flinch. They had heard it before. We remember the stars that burned, it continued. We remember those who mocked the Makers. We remember the silence that followed. Makers? One alien whispered. Does it mean humans? The human diplomat, still calm, finally spoke. It does. That ship is one of ours. A fragment of a time when our kind were not explorers, but survivors of the last galactic war. You call this age civilized. We called it the rebuilding. The chamber shuddered under the weight of his words. But if humanity had ships like this, hissed the council leader, why did you vanish? Why hide your power for so long? The human's eyes narrowed. Because we learned what happens when power becomes pride. The answer silenced even the boldest voices. On the projection, the ancient vessel began to shift again. Panels retracted, revealing long bands of inscriptions running along its sides. As the golden pulse flowed through them, the alien language processors scrambled to translate. The result appeared on the chamber's central holodisplay, one line at a time. Those who forget the first fire will burn in the second. It wasn't a threat. It was a warning. A memory left behind by a civilization that had survived its own destruction. Admiral Varick's claws clicked nervously. That phrase, I've seen it carved into ruins on the edge of the Orion abyss. I thought it was a legend. But those ruins were human? The human diplomat turned to him. Not ruins, graves. Gasps echoed through the hall. The council leader's voice broke, anger mixing with fear. If humanity once ruled the stars, what stopped you? The human's answer came like stone. We stopped ourselves. He stepped closer to the center of the hall. The golden glow from the screen painted his face in soft light. We destroyed what we could not control. We buried the machines that ended worlds. We sealed them under time. Until now. Every alien stared, trembling. Why bring it back? A reptilian delegate whispered. Why awaken such a weapon again? The human diplomat looked up at the projection. The ship floated silent like an eye watching from eternity. To remind the galaxy that peace exists only because someone once fought for it. He said softly, "You mocked us because you forgot that truth." The ship remembered. The chamber fell quiet. The aliens no longer saw a relic. They saw a ghost of something eternal, something far beyond them. A weapon that had slept 1,000 years, and still obeyed humanity's call. Admiral Varric sank back into his seat. They were never the children of the stars, he muttered. They were the architects of them, and for the first time since the Council's creation, the galaxy felt small. Because if one ancient human ship still lived, how many more were waiting in the dark? The silence after the blast was heavy, almost sacred. Every alien in the Council chamber sat frozen, as if the very air had turned to glass. The space beyond the station still shimmered faintly from the golden beam that had erased the cruiser. Not destroyed it, erased it, as though reality itself had been rewritten. The humans stood quietly, unmoved by the chaos they'd unleashed. Their calmness was no longer strange, it was terrifying. Admiral Varric's claws dug into the table. He had commanded fleets for centuries, had seen stars burn, worlds fall, empires collapse. But he had never seen anything like this. The way the human ship fought was not aggression, it was memory. "Pull up long-range scans," he ordered in a low voice. "I want to know what else is out there." The technicians obeyed. Their eyes darted across flickering holograms as readings came in, lines of data streaming faster than they could process. Then one of them froze. His frills turned white with shock. "Sir, I'm picking up other signatures." The Council leader leaned forward. "Other ships?" "Yes," the technician said, voice cracking. "Dozens, maybe hundreds. Same energy pattern, same golden resonance." The chamber erupted in noise. Some shouted disbelief. Others screamed to shut down the scanners. But the images appeared anyway. The void beyond the Council's station shimmered as dark shapes emerged one by one from the black. Enormous, silent silhouettes drifting just beyond sensor range. They weren't new. They weren't coming from hyperspace. They had always been there, hidden in the dark, sleeping, waiting. The technician's voice trembled. "They're not approaching. They're just watching." One alien delegate slammed his hand against the desk. "Deactivate them." "Before they—" "We can't," another shouted. "They're not responding to any frequency known to the Council." The humans still didn't move. The lead diplomat merely raised his head, eyes steady and unreadable. "You see them now," he said quietly. "The ones who never forgot." "Forgot what?" hissed the Council leader. "Forgot what it means to survive." The words hung in the air like a blade. On the main projection, the ghost fleet began to glow faintly, golden lines running across their surfaces like rivers of fire. Their designs were strange, no symbols of nations, no flags, no visible engines. Just smooth black hulls, scarred by time yet pulsing with the same living light as the first ship. "They're alive," whispered Admiral Varric. "Those ships, they're alive." The human diplomat turned toward him. "Not alive," he said softly. "Awake." Across the chamber, the youngest of the alien representatives, a scholar from the Korath species, spoke up, his voice trembling. "This changes everything. If those are truly human ships, then humanity's technology predates our entire galactic record by millennia. It means the humans were here before us all." "Lies!" The Council leader barked, but his words had no power left. "No," said Varric, standing slowly. "He's right. I've seen these patterns carved into derelict moons. I thought they were the work of gods, but they were human." The humans exchanged glances, quiet and grim. The diplomat finally said, "We buried them. We thought the galaxy wasn't ready. But when mockery replaced peace, they stirred." "Are you threatening us?" spat a reptilian warlord. The human's gaze was steady. "If we wanted war, you'd already be gone." The warlord fell silent. The ghost fleet shifted slightly in formation, not advancing, not retreating, but aligning into perfect symmetry. Golden light rippled between them like threads connecting a single mind. Every scanner in the chamber went dark, unable to track the energy pattern. "This is not possible," muttered a scientist. "No fleet could stay powered for 1,000 years. Their cores should have decayed centuries ago." The human diplomat turned to face the screen. "They don't draw power from stars," he said. "They draw it from what stars leave behind. Black holes." whispered Varric. You built ships that feed on black holes. The human's silence was answer enough. The council leader stumbled back in disbelief. Then you could erase entire systems. Once, the human said softly. We did. A chill swept through the chamber. Every alien realized that humanity had not come to boast nor to conquer. They had come to remind the galaxy what restraint looked like, and how thin that restraint could be. On the great screen, one of the ancient ships turned slightly, its golden core flaring like the first spark of dawn. The council hall vibrated as a low tone filled the air, so deep it seemed to come from the bones of the universe. Varric bowed his head. The ghosts have returned. The human diplomat's voice carried across the silence. They never left. And far beyond the council's reach in the dark between stars, the rest of the fleet stirred, hundreds of ancient engines igniting like golden suns reborn. The galaxy had laughed at humanity. Now it prayed humanity would let it live. The galaxy's heart had gone silent. No voice rose in the council chamber now. No laughter, no debate, not even a whisper. The screens that once displayed the trial had dimmed to black, save for one. The great central projection where the human ship still floated, surrounded by the ghost fleet. Hundreds of vessels, each a relic from a forgotten age, each glowing with that same golden pulse, steady, patient, eternal. Every alien leader stared in awe. Some trembled, some prayed. A few could barely breathe. For the first time in recorded history, the galaxy understood how small it truly was. The council leader, who had once mocked humanity's primitive toy, now looked pale and hollow-eyed. How many are there? He whispered. The human diplomat stood still, hands clasped behind his back. Enough, he said simply. The word hung heavy in the air. Admiral Varric turned toward him, voice rough with disbelief. You hid this power for centuries, for millennia. Why reveal it now? The human's eyes were calm, but there was sorrow behind them. Because arrogance always repeats itself, he said quietly. We buried our weapons so that no one, not even us, would ever bring back the age of fire. But when the galaxy began to laugh again, when it forgot the cost of peace, he gestured to the screen. They remembered for us. The council chamber vibrated as one of the great ships moved. The golden light across its hull rippled outward, spreading through the fleet like an echo across water. The sound that followed was unlike anything the council had ever heard, a low harmonic tone that resonated in every heart. It wasn't a threat. It was a promise. The alien leaders looked to one another, searching for words that no longer existed. What do you want from us? The council leader finally asked, his voice breaking. The human diplomat stepped forward. Respect, he said. Not fear. Not submission. Just the understanding that peace is not your gift. It's your inheritance from those who bled for it long before you were born. He turned his gaze to the admiral. You think we are new to the stars, but we were here when the stars themselves were young. Varric bowed his head. And the ships? What will you do with them? The human smiled faintly. Nothing. They will return to sleep, unless we are forced to remember again. The fleet began to move, slow and graceful, turning away from the council's world. Each vessel folded its golden glow inward, fading back into the black. The stars swallowed them one by one until only the first ship remained, the same small, scratched vessel the galaxy had once laughed at. Its engines pulsed once, softly, and it drifted toward the human convoy waiting beyond the moon's edge. No words, no warning, just quiet departure. As the ship left the trial field, the council systems flickered back to life. Power returned. Lights brightened. The silence in the chamber broke, not with noise but with relief. One of the younger delegates whispered, "It's over." But Admiral Varric shook his head slowly. No, it's only begun. The galaxy will never be the same. He looked up at the stars on the screen, now empty again. They showed us what waits in our past, and what will return if we forget. The council leader slumped in his chair, defeated. And if they ever decide to awaken those ships again? Varric's eyes glimmered with quiet awe. Then the galaxy will bow before the first race that ever tamed the fire of the stars. In the distance, the last human vessel vanished into the void, its golden light fading into starlight. Back on Earth's orbit as the fleet disappeared into the black, the human diplomat watched the screen aboard his command shuttle. The reflection of the ancient ship shimmered across his eyes. "Sleep now," he whispered. "You've done enough." And somewhere, far beyond the reach of the council, 1,000 ancient cores dimmed at once, their golden light fading like embers into the dark. But even as the universe fell quiet again, one truth remained unshakable. The galaxy had learned fear. The galaxy had learned respect. And above all, the galaxy had learned that humanity was never the new race among the stars. Humanity was the first, the forgotten fire that once forged empires and could one day do so again.